Yeah.
silver and stuff.
We'll now call this meeting to order. First order of business is to adopt the agenda for tonight's meeting. Commissioners, is there a motion to adopt the final agenda?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Iverson and seconded by Commissioner Murray. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Our next order of business is to adopt the minutes from the August 15th, 2023 Planning Commission meeting. Commissioners, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Reyes and seconded by Commissioner Pedersen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. We will now move on to our discussion items. We have one item for discussion and action on our agenda tonight, which is item 3.1, consider shoreline flexible ordinance. This item does include a public hearing. I will now turn it over to City Planner Brian McCain for staff presentation, and then I will open the public hearing for those in the chamber this evening that wish to speak on the request.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. As you mentioned, tonight we have a request from staff for a shoreland flexibility ordinance. So what is the shoreland flexibility implementation? This is taken directly from the DNR's website. The intent is to address specific circumstances where compliance with specific provisions causes problems. Examples of these include a central business district that is located in shoreland, just as ours. So our current shoreland ordinance, the section that we're looking at revising is the residential shoreland planned unit developments, also known as the RSPUDs, which is section 22-10 of zoning code. Under RSPUDs, they are required for all multifamily projects, which is essentially anything over 4 units, which is typically like a quadplex. So any apartment buildings such as Victoria Flats or the Roars project that we specifically had, or the Amira project, all of these were required to go through the RSPUD. And because of those, they had to go through a tier analysis to determine the allowable maximum density, and that's broken down within 5 tiers, as I'm sure you all know. And then the RSPUD also allows for a maximum 80% impervious surfacing in the CBD, and a minimum 50% open space is required. So here in the map on the left, you can see in bright red the properties that are within our CBD. And then on the right, you can see the Shoreland Overlay District, which is the entire area within that blue line with the blue dots. So as you can see, every single property within our central business district is affected by the Shoreland Overlay. And our 2040 comprehensive plan, our downtown mixed use, which is our future land use guidance for our CBD, makes several mentions to allowing higher densities, such as vertical mixed use buildings, and then the 24 to 75 units per acres allowed. It allows for higher density residential uses, and then regarding impervious, it's supposed to create a pedestrian-friendly and commercial character. And then residential developments should be designed and situated to support a strong pedestrian environment. As I mentioned, we've had 2 projects recently that have gone through this RSPUD process, including the Roars project, which received a variance for a density increase. With the tier analysis, they only would have been allowed 17 units, but they had 125 units proposed. And then they were allowed more than 50%, or less than 50%, sorry, open space, and the minimum allowed would have been 50%. So they received variances to both of those standards. And then moving on to the Amira project, they met the open space requirement because of the sheer size of the parcel. It's the largest property that we have in our central business district. And then the variance was approved for the density increase as well. They would have only been approved approximately 34 units, but they had 149 with the 147 multifamily and the 2 single family. So this proposed ordinance that's in front of you tonight would exempt the central business district from residential shoreline PUD standards, specifically the density requirement and the open space requirement. They will only be exempt under 3 conditions. The development does not currently have or propose riparian access, so any access to surrounding lake shore. The proposed density complies with the future land use guidance, which in our 2040 comp plan is 24 to 75 units per acre, and then compliance with the rest of the shoreland overlay district. If approved, variances will no longer be required for open space and density in the central business district, similar to those projects I've covered tonight. And the DNR has reviewed and conditionally approved the request contingent upon city council adoption of the ordinance. So with that, staff's recommendation tonight is 1, hold a public hearing on the request, and 2, recommend the city council adopt the ordinance and resolution approving summary publication to amend section 22-10 of the city code. I have a sample motion on the screen for you tonight. Staff is available for questions.
Thank you, Brian. I will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone in the chambers this evening who wish to comment on this item? Since there's no one here to comment on the item tonight, commissioners, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
I get a second. I got a motion made by Commissioner Iverson and second by Commissioner Murray. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The motion carries and the public hearing is now closed. I will now open the floor to the planning commission to discuss. And commissioners, are there any questions for staff regarding this ordinance?
Are there any projects that are in process right now that have not been approved that this is going to affect?
No projects that we've received an application for.
Okay.
The only one that I can think of is the Monarch project, but we haven't heard from them in months, to be honest, so I'm not sure what the current status is.
Okay.
Commissioners, hearing no more discussion, I will ask for a motion.
I recommend these, excuse me, I recommend City Council adopt the ordinance and resolution approving summary publication to amend section 22-10 of the zoning code.
Motion, can I ask for a second?
Second.
A motion made by Commissioner Iverson and seconded by Commissioner Reyes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Moving on to miscellaneous section of our agenda. Are there any items from staff for miscellaneous?
Yes, just to give you a couple updates, the Roars project received final plat approval from the city council. And then we have Hunter's Brook Creek side, which is a new preliminary plat that you will see at your next meeting on October 3rd. Other than that, at our previous meeting regarding downtown uses, we talked a little bit about the cannabis issue. If some of you are aware, the city council has put a moratorium on that until January 2025. We're just looking to get some more information before we consider any sort of cannabis business in the city. And I believe they are coming up with a draft ordinance for cities for their zoning codes as well. So we'll have to review and consider that at a later date. But that's all the updates from staff.
Commissioners, do you have any miscellaneous items? Is there no more items on the to be discussed this evening? Could I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Iverson and second by Commissioner Pedersen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. We are adjourned.